right, y'all. So I got my breakfast here. I'm sitting down to eat with y'all. So I usually sit here and eat. A lot of the times I'll just kind of scroll through my phone and look at everything and just eat while I do that. So, but today I'll kind of just chat with you about what's been going on. Today I think I'm going to film a video for y'all. This is an impromptu video. I wasn't really planning to film a video today because I filmed one yesterday. But something very unusual happens when you're living from the heart. Whatever your plans are, they're switched all the time. You never really keep a plan. Whatever is happening in the moment, that energy that arises is what kind of moves you in your day. So I may have other plans, but if my heart is wanting me to make a video or to have a certain activity or do something, then that is what usually I do, because I mostly abide in my heart, because I found that that is the best way to really live. It is got its own intelligence that is beyond this world. So if you don't like eating, I probably want you to click off if you want, because I'm going to be eating now. And this is all just to kind of energetically share with you just normal things. You know, a lot of what I was teaching in School of Scarlet is a lot more psychology based, is a lot more spiritual, based on my own experiences and things. But what Source and my heart is really telling me is to really get down into the normal stuff, to really talk to y'all, to really be very authentic and open about things that I even may be struggling with, or that things that may be happening, to really share and transmute that for you and normalize that for you. And, you know, while the world wants to make everything very perfect, through all these, you know, highlight reels on, it started off on Facebook, now Instagram, and, you know, all these different ways that we now use social media to portray our life. And our life is very beautiful, but we have to kind of portray it very authentically, I feel. So we've been seeing a lot of the artificial things of setting up breakfasts and things and taking pictures of them to make them look very perfect, like they came out of a magazine. But the truth of it is, our daily lives are very normal. And one of the things I had asked Source, which, you know, is God, why did he choose me? Why am I the one to speak this message? Or why is this happening with me? Because generally, I was an introvert, a very shy person. This isn't something that I generally want to do in a lot of ways, but it has opened within my heart, has unfolded in a way that it's the only thing I want to do, but at the same time, it's very different than the way I am naturally. So it stretches my body, it stretches my nervous system, it stretches a lot of things for me. So one day, out of that frustration, I kind of just asked God, why did he choose me to share these messages or to have lived this life or whatever? And he really just let me know that to examine my heart, that in all times I have always had a heart that was open and sincere. The other portion of it was that apparently there are light workers, or the people that are being placed literally everywhere around the earth. And these people are meant to share their message, but to share it in a very authentic way where people that are like them can relate to them. So I am a person that is pretty average, actually. I've had many amazing experiences in my life. I can say I feel very blessed and I feel like I have a full life. But generally, I'm a very normal person. I live in a small town in Texas. I'm a stay-at-home mom now, but I mostly worked as a counselor and as a teacher for many years. I worked, you know, in normal places that you go work 9 to 5 and come back. I volunteer in my community. I was part of my church. You know, I volunteer at my daughter's school. I substitute teach, not just even for the money. I really actually enjoy being part of the community, going to the football games. All of these things are just part of my life here. And it's a very normal kind of life. It's a life that I kind of always wanted. So it is just who I am as an expression. You know, I enjoy my animals. I enjoy the slower pace. I have lived in bigger cities. I grew up in a bigger city, and I also have lived outside of the state. I've moved around, and so I've had those experiences. But generally, I am a pretty average person, you could say. And so I've just had some experiences that have opened up my heart and my mind into other things. But generally, like I say, I am inviting you into my home. I live in a modest home. After I kind of did my inventory when I was trying to do my manifesting and all that, trying to see what I had really manifested over my life, I really have manifested a lot. But if you really look at the way that I live very average, very modest, very normal. And in a lot of ways, people will say, oh, well, that's not true. She has a lot of abundance and things like that. But I'll share that with you, and I'll show you how the abundance came to me, because a lot of the abundance and things that you will see, you'll come to find out that they were manifested through gifts, or they were manifested in unusual circumstances that are beyond this mind. Like, the price of whatever it is that I bought should have been outrageous, but it wasn't. And so things like that. So I'm going to be sharing with you these things because, you know, a lot of times people watch videos or see things, and our mind automatically projects what we think is going on with that person, or how they did it, or what's going on, or, you know, how they live, and or how they are. And it's not, we're only really seeing a small chunk of their life, a very, very small chunk. So even me sharing these videos, you're still going to see a very small chunk, but you're going to see a different side of me, a different perspective, a different look, a different way of being. You know, for example, me eating my breakfast here. Now you know what my mornings are like, and this is typically what I eat every morning. This is my favorite robe. These are the things that I do. And I want to transmute some of that shame for you. For example, what I'm drinking here this morning is actually soda. My husband really likes to drink Coke Zero, and he kind of got me hooked on it like a year ago or so, but I got really sick off of it. My body was not accepting that level of caffeine, the carbonation, so I became very sick, and I made a video about it. So let me eat a little bit so my food doesn't get cold. But so anyhow, I don't know how I'm going to eat and talk to y'all, but I'm going to try. So when that day that I got sick, I kind of went out there to go hug a tree. That's what came up naturally. I was living intuitively. Y'all are on my channel, Scarlett's Intuitive Life. Most of what I'm doing here is all intuitive, coming from the heart. So I went and hugged that tree, and it cleared all of the discomfort that I was feeling in my body. And I decided to stop drinking soda because, you know, it had caffeine. The carbonation was making me sick and all of that. Once I got a little bit more stable in my being through things like the nervous system work and things, I have all of this in my courses, by the way. This is all very important because as you move through this journey, your body is not just, the energy is changing. You're ascending in a way that also your body has to change to match that vibration. To have a very high vibration, your body has to be very healthy. It has to be a complete clear channel. And so if you're unhealthy, or you're bringing things into your body that are not in resonance to that, you're not going to be able to really abide in that all the way, is my experience with it. So anyhow, I got off the soda, and it really helped me a lot. It got me back into clarity and all of these things. But from time to time, I crave a soda. And that is okay, because we are okay to have whatever we want. We are creator beings. We can decide. If I choose to have this soda and it makes me sick, that is what happens. And it's just what happens. It's what I decided to do. The other thing I can do now as I'm coming along my journey is if I begin to get sick, I can also ask to pull back some of that feeling. Everything's illusory. You're actually in control of everything. So I've also learned some of those things, although they don't always work right away. You may want to be careful about what you're eating and drinking. But for me personally, I don't know if it's because I was, you know, born a Taurus. I'm not really into astrology, but everything I've ever read about a Taurus really does sound like me. They say that Taurus are very into food. They're almost like 2-year-olds. They love to eat. They love pleasure. They're like 2-year-olds. They're all into these things. And so, and they're very stubborn. And that's actually how I am. I've never even been on a diet before. I love food, and if I crave something, I want it. And so that's just how I am. And the other part of it was the pleasure part of it. Well, I've talked a little bit in my last video. That was also something like a program running in me to want these pleasure things that eventually transmuted into something different. So eventually you have to release these attachments, the attachments to, let's say, food, let's say that pleasure, and it transmutes. When you will release that attachment, suddenly now you can now have it in a way that is healthy. You're no longer, it's not an unhealthy attachment anymore. So ever since I released the attachment to soda, completely stopped drinking it, let it go, when I had the craving for it again, I had it in a different way. I had a different perspective about it. And I didn't get sick, and I haven't gotten sick since. It has not affected me. So over time, these things can be transmuted. And if for some reason they begin to get me sick again and things like that, you can back away, reassess where in alignment maybe you're off. And I don't know, maybe you'll find this funny. My brother finds it really funny because he says that I don't eat very well. Like, I'm very messy when I eat. So there's been a couple times I have been really extreme. I think one time we went to Sonic and he got me a ice cream cone. Sonic's a drive-through that has like car hops that come to your window. And they have ice cream. Generally, they don't have ice cream cones, but this time they had an ice cream cone. And the ice cream cone was filled with soft serve. So it was already very messy. So I'm already trying to paint the picture for you to give me some grace here. But as I was eating it, it was just melting everywhere. I mean, it was dripping like on me, on my face, everywhere. It was just coming down my hands. I think my brother got a camera out and started taking a video. But he's just amazed at how messy I can get with eating. And I don't ever mean to get messy with eating at all. So it's just something that happens. So if I'm being messy here, I'm so sorry. The other time was a time we went to the Renaissance Fair. And at the Renaissance Fair, they have these elephant ears. They're essentially like funnel cakes. If you know what a funnel cake is, it's basically fried dough with powdered sugar on it. And so I was so excited to see that they had elephant ears because y'all are learning now I love food. So when I saw this, I was super excited. So I got my elephant ear and I sat down to go eat it. And I didn't even realize my brother was filming me. He was taking a video. He showed me afterwards. It was just hilarious the way I was struggling to eat this thing. And just, I mean, I was having the time of my life, but that's the way I eat. So, yeah, it's just something unusual about me again. Sometimes we judge ourselves harshly about these things. We get embarrassed. I've seen quite a few people, including people within my own family and stuff like that, that won't even eat in front of others. I've seen that with children too. They're embarrassed about how they eat, or maybe someone has said something to them, so they're very cautious about these things. Release that. Release it. There's actually no right or wrong way to do anything. There's not. And if you find that there is, let me know. How do you know that? Everything here is relative. And on top of that, even if it is one way, it can always be another. Nothing here is permanent. It's always changing, evolving, and becoming something different. And you can actually transform anything into whatever you want. So because of this, nothing is permanent. Even if somebody says, this is the way to do it, these are the manners, this is how we do it, that's not the case. You can even look through history, if you don't believe me, how things have changed. How even things that are so wrong today were so right hundreds of years ago. So, you know, even within the Bible and stuff, it's a very revered book, of course, and everybody really respects it. But many of the things in there, even culturally, are not currently acceptable. Things change. That is just the nature of our reality. It is very relative, but that doesn't mean that really the stories behind all of these things, the symbols, are not true. So these stories remain. These stories are still powerful. These stories still have a message, because it's not about these things. It's not about how you eat. It's not about these laws. You know, there are laws, but these are, a lot of the things that we're talking about here are truly just part of this dream. So all that to say, don't get too hung up on manners, doing something correctly, or whether you didn't do it correctly, being embarrassed over something like that. What's right in one country is not right in another. Could sit here and eat a bowl of noodles and slurp it all over the place, be making all this noise here at home, and I would be considered someone that has bad manners. They'd say, close your mouth, you're being too noisy, you're making a mess. But in Asian cultures, slurping your noodles or your food, or even making noise like like just it's good, is a good thing. They love that. That symbolizes that you are enjoying your food. The more slurping, the messier you get with your food in that way, symbolizes to them that you're enjoying your food. Whereas in some other cultures, or in my home, if you're doing that, you're just being messy. So, it's just, it's all relative where you're at, what's going on there. So you kind of make up your own reality. In your reality, how do you want to eat? That's the question. So I don't know what else I'm going to share here. Oh, well, I guess I could share some good news from this morning. Actually, the only reason that I decided to do, I'm going to film a video. I have an itch to film. But the only reason that I did this video was to share with you my eating. I kind of just wanted to transmute that for you. I'm a messy eater, and also I eat very normal things. I eat 2 eggs and white bread every day, things like that. So I think a lot of people, from the beginning, I was getting a lot of emails about my lifestyle. Do you eat? Do you go to the doctor? Do these things? Of course, I do everything that I've always done. Some things I now do a little differently, or I don't eat certain things because they just don't agree. But like I said, even those things that don't agree, they still have a place here when needed or when I want. So everything is just the same. Nothing has really changed. I haven't become a vegan. I haven't become any of those things. I used to be a vegan. I used to be a raw food vegan for a while. And that's when I was really very kind of unhappy. I was really sad about animals. I was sad about animal cruelty. I was worried about things with my health. I was in a whole other mind space. But I was a raw food vegan, but it was in a way of really suffering, being a martyr for it. And so that's just not the case anymore. Everything is allowed here. And that is the idea, the mentality that we have to keep, is that everything has a place, is allowed here, deserves to be here in some way. And if you are rejecting or not allowing something in some capacity, you have to realize that is you. You're denying something about yourself, because you are everything, and you will realize that one day, and you will realize that everyone around you, even all those people that you so-called say are, ruining your life, doing this and that, they are you. And you're going to have to sit in that and figure out how to paint with all those colors of the wind. And it is quite interesting. I will share. So if you're interested in more of these kind of conversations, I am going to be talking about these kind of things in my new video to come on my School of Scarlet. So just to kind of close up here, the other reason I kind of want to make this video is because I got really excited. I was doing my hair in the bathroom, and I am a big fan of Jelly Roll. Are you guys fans of Jelly Roll? Jelly Roll is a country music artist. He kind of does some rap country music, and his music is so inspirational to me. He recently just won Country Music Artist of the Year from the CMA Awards, which is amazing, and I was trying to manifest that for him too, and just being there with that energy, and he did it all. So Jelly Roll came into my life a couple years ago, before he even was on the radio, before he was even known to people here, and I heard his music on YouTube, and the song I heard was Same Asshole, and that song really touched me in a way that I now include it in my courses. I also include a song called it's a Dierks Bentley song called I don't know if it's called Holy Water. I'm blanking out right now, but basically that song also talks about that he's a little bit holy water and a little bit burning man. The same asshole is the same sort of connotation, same sort of thing. These songs are very deep. These songs speak to something that is very profound, that again, that can't be spoken in logic, but is understood. And so when I heard this song, it really transformed me. I began to listen to all of his music. Every single one of his songs spoke to me in one way or another. This man is a light worker, in my opinion. He is, like I was talking about Elvis, really bringing in love, really bringing in healing through his experiences and things like that. So I really encourage you to check him out. I'm a huge fan of Jelly Roll, and I'm not a fan of very many artists, I will tell you that. So anyhow, he's coming to Rodeo Houston. I had been just like praying, manifesting for him to come to Rodeo Houston. And I found out that he's coming. He was on the lineup, and I said, yes, it's all happening. So I went out, started looking for my new boots, my new outfit. I was going to be all decked out, and just some different things have happened where with business wise, we're going to have to probably be gone and doing different things. And so for different reasons, it came that I wasn't sure if I was going to get the tickets today. I wasn't going to commit to getting them, spending money on them and doing all this, not knowing whether or not I'd be actually able to go. And I was a little bit kind of sad about that. You know, there was a little bit, like my inner child was a little bit sad about that, because this had been something I'd really been manifesting and really wanting. But then I just told myself, you know what, don't worry about it. Don't even look at the website. The tickets came out today. You'll catch him at his next show, and you have every ability to catch him wherever he's at if you want to see his show. So I said that, and I just went on my morning. And then all of a sudden I look at my phone, and all of a sudden my husband says, we have 4 tickets. I just got 4 free tickets, club seats to Jelly Roll at the rodeo. His friend, who's on a rodeo committee, knew about my love of Jelly Roll and just flat out gave us his club level seats to Jelly Roll. So I will be there at that concert, and I'm just so excited. So whatever happens, I think we will be there. But you know, it's just the universe always just kind of letting you know, hey, you got it all. It's okay. As soon as you release that attachment, as soon as I said, you know what, I'm not going to probably go to that concert. Who knows if I do or not, you know, I'm just not even going to check the website, but I know one day I will. And there's really no time and space, or, you know, this moment is always this moment. So whenever I go, it'll be the moment. So I release that, and as I release that, that's when it comes. And I can't tell you how many times that has happened in my life here recently, where I've completely dropped the ball. Like serious things have been happening, and I'm just like, whatever happens. And when I do that, it all turns around to like a miracle. It's amazing. Anyway, this is just a small little thing to share with you, but I just wanted to share that with you. Thank you so much for having breakfast with me. This was really nice chatting with you. I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much, and I hope that you come back and subscribe and share this content with others. Thank you so much.